All right. Good evening. I would like to call to order the Keizer City Council. It is Tuesday, September 8th, 2020, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councillor Smith?
Here.
Councillor Parsons?
She is excused.
Councillor Herrera?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here.
Council President Freeman?
Here.
Councillor Reed?
Here.
And Councillor Kohler?
Here.
Thank you very much. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, tonight we have, under special orders of business, we have two proclamations. So I will do those first, and then we are going to go into committee reports. In that time, I'm also going to ask some of our city staff to talk about some of the events of the day relative to the San Am fire. All right. Which was not on tonight's agenda, and I don't believe it was on anybody's agenda, just saying. Up until last night. First up is a very important proclamation for Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America embodies the foundational principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law, and whereas September 17, 2020 marks the 233rd anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document upon its memorable anniversary, and to honor the patriotic celebration that will commemorate it, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore I, Kathy Clark, Mayor of the City of Keizer, together with the Keizer City Council assembled in regular session, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17 through 23, 2020 as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by being vigilant in protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties. It witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Keizer to be affixed this 8th day of September, 2020. I will send that. Ruby, you are here. You will come up and talk to us a little bit about the Constitution Week Declaration, and thank you for providing for us these wonderful pocket constitutions.
Yeah, I have had those in my box at home for a while. I started giving them to our Children of the American Revolution group. I'm a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution. I actually had several of my ancestors that participated in the American Revolution. And I have already completed 2 of them, and now I find that I have 2 more, so I'm working on that. The Daughters of the American Revolution do, every year, they put out information and they really emphasize, the importance of going by the Constitution to do our government work, and so I always want to emphasize that. So thank you for doing the proclamation for me.
Thank you. I will come up now and present it, and thank you for reminding us of this very important document, and more importantly, the country under which it is operated, that we can enjoy these freedoms. Thank you.
True.
Which background do you want? There you go.
All right. This way?
Okay, ready? Ready, set, go. Perfect.
We've all learned to smile with our eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Somewhere in here. Nope, of course not. And it is now my pleasure to read this proclamation regarding Home Inventory Week. There we go. This is really more pertinent than we thought it might be. Whereas each September is recognized as National Preparedness Month, and whereas Oregonians have witnessed and experienced natural disasters in our own community, whereas every community member can and should take active steps to protect their families and neighbors from natural and man-made disasters, and whereas every family and business in Keizer is encouraged to take active steps to be financially secure after a disaster, and whereas every community member is encouraged to make sure they are properly insured against fire, flood, earthquake, and storm, and whereas every community member is encouraged to create a home inventory to include as part of their disaster preparedness kit, now therefore, I, Kathy Clark, Mayor of the City of Keizer, together with the Keizer City Council assembled in regular session, do hereby proclaim the first week of September 2020 as Home Inventory Week. And join cities across Oregon to encourage everyone to build a home inventory of personal property and speak with insurance agent and other appropriate emergency planning resource personnel to make sure they are financially prepared for a disaster. In witness whereof, I am here to set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Keizer to be herein affixed this 8th day of September, 2020. And do we have, okay. All right, this is going to go to, I think this was requested by the state of Oregon, but I think it's a reminder for all of us, and today's events have just served to underscore how important this is. That is signed. All right. So that's under special orders of business. We don't, do we have anybody here for committee reports? I've got 2 people under public testimony, but committee reports. Okay, we'll get the regular committee reports. With that though, since this has been such an eventful day, I would like to take out of order some staff reports regarding what has happened in our community and our larger Marion County community today regarding the what is now known as the San Am fire. And also want to highlight and thank the many people of our community who have stepped up to offer help, aid, support, comfort, whatever is necessary, because that's who we are as Keizer. We want to take meaningful action, and people have done so all day long. A special shout out to Elizabeth Smith, who has been on social media for the city of Detroit, as well as passing information for the city of Keizer pretty much since 11:30 last night. So if she looks tired, she is.
I'm exhausted.
Dan Kohler, when I put out the call for getting volunteers, you said how many and where, and that was that. And I really appreciate that. And the people of Keizer and our guests who are here who need a kind ear, a warm smile, and a friendly face. You've provided so much that as well as the material needs. Thank you. And Councilor Reed, you got off work, gave me a call, where can I go? And I really appreciate that. Councilor Freeman, I called you up today and said, let me update you real quick, let's see what's going on. And you know, you had already done some reading. Councilor Herrera, I need some help from you. I've got some calls for Spanish language materials. I don't know where they're at. If you do, I need to get a hold of them and get them out quickly.
I've gotten a few myself.
Okay, so would you collaborate with me after this? I'm having a difficult time tracking that down, and that should have been something we should be able to get our hands on, but I'm a little frazzled, so your help would be greatly appreciated.
Sure.
Thank you. With that, City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to give Bill an opportunity to chat since emergency management fits in his department, and then I'll add anything that I may think of that he doesn't cover. So, Bill, go ahead.
Thank you, Chris. Madam Mayor and Council, this morning I spoke with the Public Works Director at Marion County. He called me asking about he had gotten information about the potential of using Keizer Rapids Park for evacuees in their RVs and campers and those kinds of things. I confirmed, yes, that's an option. We talked about needs at the park, sanitation, water, those kind of things. At that point, Marion County was going to coordinate the sanitation piece through the Red Cross and others. I told them, let me know what you need for water per se. We're fairly limited at Keizer Rapids Park on water in terms of location, not supply, but where it is. As the day unfolded, he had indicated this morning he would let me know in about a half an hour whether that was going to happen or not. After about 3.5 or 4 hours, I reached back out to him to find out if that was going to be a need. At that point, he indicated no. The county did not believe they were going to need anything from Keizer Rapids Park, that they were going to be using the state fairgrounds, Volcano Stadium, and his term was here. And I took that to mean the Public Works facility on Silverton Road. I never got him to confirm that because he was answering other phones, talking to other people. He was talking to me, but that's where their offices are. So I believe that's a site that they're using as well for evacuees. There was some, at that point, that was about 3:30, I believe, this afternoon. There was still some, I'll say, uncertainty about identifying Volcano Stadium through the county's information as an evacuee site. But he then came back and said, yes, they were going to do that, and they were going to put out a press release regarding that soon. I have not seen any press release come out. I've checked their website. I've not seen anything official from the county on that, but I believe that the Volcanoes is another site for evacuees. I let him know. I asked him if there's anything Keizer can do. Do you need anything from us? And at that point, he said, no, there wasn't anything at that point, but he would let me know. And I haven't heard anything since, so.
And thank you for letting me call you at 1:30 this morning.
Sure.
And picking up. Actually, your wife did. And very happily handed you the phone. Also want to thank, I also woke up Chief T. Also, the quick response by the owners of the volcanoes to offer help, and many people in our community have offered facilities for people to come. Also want to let people know that if they have not been following all of the news feeds, that the animals that have been evacuated are at the State Fairgrounds, Deschutes Fairgrounds, Polk County Fairgrounds, Yamhill County Fairgrounds, and I understand most of those are pretty full. But the animals are being cared for, and Dan helped me wrangle some folks to get a load of hay that was donated out of Independence. So people throughout the valley are responding with practical help, and again, way for a community to come together and find a way to take care of people and their pets, from small to large. I understand the lion was probably not one they could find a facility for, but everybody else they've been able to manage. I kid you not. A lot of horses, of course, but sheep, goats, dogs, cats, lots of dogs, a lot of dogs. Speaking of which, the word was put out on Facebook to bring donations to the Keizer Chamber of Commerce, which immediately opened their doors to collect those donations. They were very specific about what they needed at the fairgrounds, so people didn't have to guess. They knew what to bring, and bring it you did. Again, Keizer, our surrounding area, you are so generous, and it's been wonderful to see truckload after truckload leave the chamber, head down to the fairgrounds, some of out to Volcano Stadium to provide for the needs of our neighbors in time of crisis.
There's chickens at Volcano Stadium too.
There's chickens at Volcano Stadium. Okay. Pets, not for dinner.
And the means to cook them.
So just clarifying.
There's more than 6. And there are some roosters.
We probably will just
Need to
let them
call
go at this
Ben.
point. So anyway, thanks again. That's been very helpful. We'll please go to the Marion County Emergency Management website for official information, Metcom 911 for official information, Marion County Sheriffs for official information. If it's not there, please don't share it.
Oregon Emergency Management also.
OEM. Oregon Emergency Management.
So the only other bits of information that I would add, one, if the fire makes its way to Staten, it's very likely they'll be moving the ops center here to the community center. We've offered that, and we're prepared to provide internet service and whatever they need. Also, Public Works is ready to provide whatever help may be required of us out at Volcano Stadium. One thing that we can do is create a water fill station, keep people in potable water, so that's something that we can do. And the only other bit is, although Keizer Rapids is available theoretically, it's our least favorite choice because it is so dry down there that it in and of itself is a fire danger. And we'd hate to have our own fire to contend with when others are happening around us. So.
With that in mind, people were asking this morning what they could do, and one thing is to look at your own property. We're talking about our preparedness month. Please look at your own property. Is there a fire hazard there? Please be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So if there's something on your property that could be a fire hazard, could be a problem, take care of it so that Keizer Fire or other resources don't have to respond to you. So just a thought. Your public safety message, no charge. But that's going to be very important to make sure we're all helping out that way too. I did get word late this afternoon that the command center has been moved to Shemeketa,
Okay.
where they were able to, because they have a fire station there,
Oh, perfect.
they were able to join those two together, and they have large facilities to be able to take care of both, the convergent volunteers, emergency management, as well as the firefighting force.
Yeah, that
there
works
as
even
well.
better. Good.
So,
Good.
Jackie Franke, who is the chair of the board of directors for the Shemeketa Community College, got that word out, and so again, everybody's stepping up. Any questions on the events of the day?
Councilor Smith.
Councilor Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Could you, I did share this on Facebook. There's a lot of people who have just jumped on right now. Obviously, this is a very scary time, and so people are looking for good information. Could you possibly recap what the best procedures would be for those that are being evacuated, what level and where they should go, and as we talked about on the phone earlier today, regarding
Absolutely.
the basic steps, and so that they have an easy plan to follow?
So what is being recommended by Marion County Emergency Management is, if you are on level 3 and you haven't gotten out, what the heck are you doing? Get out, go. Go to the fairgrounds. They need you to check in there. Red Cross is set up there. They are helping people. Our Chamber of Commerce, Danielle Bethel, has been down there all day. Again, helping with coordination and information. People who are being evacuated need to go to the fairgrounds if at all possible. That way they know people know where you are, and loved ones can reach you. From there, they are, if you are RV camping and there is space, and I believe there still was space, they will let you camp there in your RV or your car. If you are looking to not camp in your RV or car, they are working to get you placed in a hotel. They haven't gone to, the old barrack style at this point. So that's taking longer, but because of COVID procedures, they believe that that's the best course of action. With that, from there, be patient. People will get placed. They will be taken care of. And again, same with animals. They're trying to get them placed and taken care of and bedded down. So that's the easiest thing to do.
Thank you.
Good question. What do you hear from Detroit?
The last that I have heard from Detroit is that the sheriff's office, the fire department has led out a caravan of about 30 to 35 cars that they are having to abandon the structures, that it's just gotten too dangerous. So we're not 100% sure of exactly the damage report, and we just ask everyone to stay out of the area and don't make it worse by having first responders having to go back up there. We did hear there was a group of people at Mongold who were stranded, and they have been rescued and gotten out of there. So please obey the requests. And, one of the things I've gotten all day has been, I'm at level 2. Does that mean that I can go to the Red Cross or I can't go to the Red Cross? Level 2, from my understanding and talking with a couple different fire officials, is a get ready to go, and you can go and you can be accepted in. And it's actually probably better to think ahead and possibly go to those places before it gets to the level 3, because the level 3 is go now, and that means there's imminent danger. So if you are in a situation, don't panic. Please don't, just be smart, be calm, but be thinking ahead. One of the things I've been trying to say on Facebook as well is that we need to really make sure that our cars are filled with gas. I had a lot of phone calls last night of people trying to escape Detroit, and they couldn't go west because there was a boulder that had fallen in the road, and they were supposed to go east. And there was another fire east, as we know. And a lot of people didn't know whether or not they had enough gas to get out of there. So as you read through this emergency thing earlier, I really, really encourage people to take this seriously and take that time to do that preparation, because that last night was probably the most terrifying 12 hours of my life, trying to tell people how to get out in that circumstance. So we're just going to keep praying and hoping that people get out. Property can be replaced, lives cannot. So thank you so much. And I do want to thank Mayor Clark, who took my call at 1 o'clock in the morning and groggy answered that phone, and I said, I think we have a major disaster coming, and jumped into action right away to start talking to the right people and getting the message out there and figuring out what we could do as a community. And thank you, because I know you're as tired as I am. So thank you.
Thank you. And also our thoughts with all the cities. Mayor Jim Trett, we've been in contact with him, the mayor of Detroit, the cities of Idana, Gates, Mills City, Lyons, the community of Mahama, are all evacuated, and we don't know what their condition is. It's not looking good. I did get words from the fairgrounds. Matt Lawyer, who is helping check in the livestock, Parks guy, planning, livestock. There are still more than 50 stalls for large livestock and much more for smaller animals at the state fairgrounds. He wanted us to know that is the case down there right now. All right. Thank you all very much for that update.
Mayor Clark,
Yes, Council President Freeman.
for those who do not have Facebook, I know you sent an email of items needed to the chamber. Do you want to talk about?
Yes, do you have that handy? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Here are items that can be dropped off at the chamber, and do we know hours? Is it normal, like business hours?
Business hours, they are closed for the evening, but they will be happy to accept donations starting in the morning. They got very well supplied today. I know they'll be able to use more if there's a real need during the night. There will be people down there who can get the word out.
Okay, so from your email, it says water, snacks, pet food, feminine hygiene products, masks, and pet poop bags. It's very important to pick up after our animals. So those are just items that sent out. So those are items in need.
Thank you very much. And then check the chamber website for additional information on that. One final note. In every disaster, in every hard time, there's always somebody trying to make a quick buck. If you get anything from, you can help your neighbors, here's this brand new charity that nobody's ever heard of. No. Go to our tried and true. Just like when COVID started, we wanted everybody to know. They got the hay. Thanks. There's always people who will try to call up and say there's a special new group, charity, whatever. Tried and true. Give smart. Give, but give smart. Our local Chamber of Commerce, the local Red Cross, the local food banks, all of our tried and true organizations that are here. Mano a Mano, Salud, anybody providing the health care, our local groups. And I just forgot a major one. I'm sure I did. Chamber, anyway, but make sure it's local. So that'd be very helpful, okay? All right, with that, let's go then to public testimony. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on matters not on the agenda for public hearing. We have three public hearings tonight. One is an ordinance declaring a lien against property located at 5142 Hasbrook Avenue Northeast and directing the city recorder to enter such lien into minor lien docket pursuant to ordinance number 94-0 282.
Mayor, do you want to do 5A first?
Oh, I thought we do have, I'm sorry. Back up, we do have appointments. Fabulous, I was looking for reports and I forgot we get to appoint people. Let's do that. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Volunteer Coordinating Committee met on August 20th, 2020 to review applications and interview candidates for openings on 3 committees. The committee is recommending the following applicants for appointments. On the Budget Committee, Gerard Graveline and Francisco Salvador for positions number 3 and 4 expiring August 31st, 2023. On the Keizer Points of Interest Committee, it would be Lisa Sejka for the remainder of term position number 7, term expiring November 30th, 2021. And on the Planning Commission, Francisco Salvador and Jane Erb for position number 4 and 5, with terms beginning on October 1st, 2020 and expiring September 30th, 2023. It is recommended City Council accept these recommendations from the Volunteer Coordinating Committee and appoint the applicants as outlined above. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report?
Comment.
Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just like to comment that Daisy Hickman did a wonderful job chairing that particular meeting. It was a long meeting, one of the longest I've been to as far as volunteer coordinating committee. And I just thought she really provided stability, calm, and peace in the way that she did the meeting. It was just very good. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I hope she's listening tonight. All right, any other questions on the staff report? Okay, Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council accept the recommendations of the Volunteer Coordinating Committee as outlined by the City Manager.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council accept the recommendations of the Volunteer Coordinating Committee as read. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, 1 absent. Okay. Now we'll go to public testimony. And for people not here for one of the 3 public hearings, I have 2 people signed up, and I'll start with Carol Dorfler.
I apologize for the phone call. That was our granddaughter Natalie, who was just convoyed out of the Mangold area. And I'm sorry, but she's safe and she's on her way home. So sorry about the phone, but I've been waiting for that call all day. I'm here this evening. My name is Carol Dorfler. I live in Keizer. I'm here tonight to talk about the inclusivity resolution and to please impress upon all of you staff, council members, council president, how important this document is going to be. Speaking of emotional, I've been carrying this card around with me since I received it on 4th of July. And you know, I've read this twice before. It's from a neighbor who doesn't feel safe in our neighborhoods. And I find that, I just find that unbelievable that could happen here in Keizer. But after hearing story after story of incidents that have happened in our community, it's just makes me more aware and makes me more diligent to make sure that we get this inclusivity resolution passed. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Carol. And want to let everybody know we are going to be having a work session on September 28th to talk about our council goal regarding equity and disparity, and also have a conversation about elements of resolutions that have been used in various jurisdictions and what elements would we want to discuss for, and if we are going to do a resolution, what that would look like, and what elements would be appropriate for that conversation. So it's the first, it's not going to be the last. We will very likely do another one in October as a follow-up, because there's no way we can do that in one meeting. Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've been asked when would a public be able to chime in on that?
So we will, as I discussed the agenda with the city manager, that we would take some input at the work sessions. We generally don't, but I think it's important to hear what people have to say and again, start getting that input so we can take the time to hear what elements that people think are important, what issues people think are important, and also for people who are in the community to hear what's already happening in the city and what thoughts are for going forward in the city in terms of disparity.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rich Rodriguez, about city CO2 emissions. Mr. Rodriguez?
Good evening, honorable citizens, council, and mayor. Just before I speak to my testimony, I just got a picture from and it's germane to this fire thing, from a friend of mine, and it was at 6:20, and this was Liberty Road, and you can see the fire from there. It's kind of spooky. Good evening. During the public testimony portion of the August 2020 meeting of the Keizer Volunteer Committee, I spoke to the need of a Keizer Sustainability Committee. This is the same testimony that I gave to City Council in July 20. Please refer to the written record for that meeting. After my public testimony on the need for a Sustainability Committee, unexpectedly and to my astonishment, the next three candidates for the Budget and Planning Commission all spoke positively about the merits of a sustainability committee and their desire to forward that. This was truly amazing. So that just speaks to the need, desirability, benefits of building community support for the sustainability. That's really the corpus of my testimony. And the fire that we're witnessing today, we have to ask ourselves, how do we get here? And it's the 9 gigatons of CO2 that we blow into the atmosphere every year. There were a series of pointed questions that I made in my public testimony on July 2020 to the council. And I'm going to follow up with the city manager asking for some responses to those questions. So with that, I'd open any questions.
All right. Are there any questions for Mr. Rodriguez? Last time that we did visit, I had some suggestions for some places to get some of the information, answers to some of your questions, and also our environmental division that you could also visit with on the work that's being done.
Yeah, there's some follow-up from that, your feedback I need to work on. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anybody else for public testimony? Okay, let's go on then to our public hearings. I'm in the right place right now, right? Okay. Okay, just want to double check. So the first public hearing is for declaring a lien against property located at 5142 Hasbrook Avenue Northeast, Keizer, Oregon, and directing city recorder to enter such lien into the minor lien docket pursuant to ordinance number 94-282, nuisance abatement procedure declaring an emergency. City manager.
Thank you, ma'am.
The public hearing is now open.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. The public hearing tonight on the nuisance abatement is for weeds and noxious vegetation. You can see the pictures that were attached, pretty substantial violation. We got no response from the property owner after notice, and so the hearing tonight is to impose the lien charge of $1,320 plus notice of publication cost for a total of $1,395. The recommendation is, after taking any testimony, unless there's questions, to adopt the attached ordinance which imposes that lien. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? Councilor Herrera.
Just out of curiosity, Councilor, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just out of curiosity, what's the public, is that the $75, is that for when they
Publishing the
post it?
notice in the
No.
newspaper.
So it's $75 to post it?
Yeah. in the newspaper. Yeah, and the reason we do that is required by the ordinances in case they didn't get the mailed notice.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think there's also a state requirement for publication in a periodical.
For imposing liens, yes.
Yeah. All right, any other questions on the staff report? I don't have anybody signed up for public testimony. Is there anybody who would like to speak to this issue? All right, seeing none, the hearing is now closed. Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt a bill for an ordinance R 2020 declaring a lien against property located at 5142 Hasbrook Avenue Northeast, Keizer, Oregon, and directing the city recorder to enter such lien in the minor lien docket pursuant to ordinance number 94-282 nuisance abatement procedure declaring an emergency.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt a bill for an ordinance 2020 declaring a lien against property located at 5142 Hasbrook Avenue Northeast, Keizer, Oregon, and directing the city recorder to enter such lien into the minor lien docket pursuant to ordinance number 94-282 nuisance abatement procedure declaring an emergency. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Item 7B is a resolution authorization for supplemental budget, general fund, non-departmental resources, and non-departmental requirements. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Wood.
Madam Mayor, City Council, at a previous City Council meeting, we entered into an agreement to receive money through the Coronavirus Relief Fund. The city's allocation was $1,150,000 roughly. Tonight I've come before you with the request to spend $1,130,000. The other 20 we've already spent in the previous fiscal year. At this point, we've identified a few projects. This is really a preliminary expenditure plan of what we think we can do with some of this money. I have reached out to some of our community partners like St. Vincent de Paul, Salvation Army. They said they could take all of it. They could use all of it in our community if we gave it to them to support the needs from the COVID-19 impact. Unfortunately, we have a few other things that we'd like to do with it, some infrastructure upgrades, some business grants, additional business grants, PPE for the city staff and some of our business partners, and also some unanticipated staffing costs. So with that, I would recommend that you take any public testimony and then approve a resolution to appropriate this money. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One question. When you say business partners, who are you referring to? Some of our business partners that you said when you...
Sure. Well, we do some work with Salvation Army, Congregations Helping People, although they're currently on a hiatus. At this point, St. Vincent de Paul, we do quite a lot of work with. As far as specific businesses, we'll be reaching out to people similar to what we've done with the grants in the past. So we'll need some help getting some information out if we move forward with those. With respect to the PP&E, at this point, the primary person that we've identified is the Heritage Foundation. They're our neighbors. We're going to help share some masks, that kind of a thing with them. But if there's other folks out there that are in need of assistance, unfortunately, we are on a quick timeline with this, so we do need help getting the money spent.
Thank you. That's one of your concerns.
Great. Thank you. Any further questions on the staff report? Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tim, I know it may be too early, but we've done the business grants in the past. And so are we looking at doing another round of business grants potentially with this
Some
money?
of the funds here are going to be the match for the current grant that we have in process. So this will give us a little bit of flexibility if we do decide to do something.
Okay.
At this point, we're going to have to see how the results of the current round go. Again, as I identified, we're going to have to adjust our plan as needs arise. And also, if we realize we can't spend all of our money on certain projects, we're going to try to reallocate as quickly as possible to get into the community.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further questions? Okay, I don't have anybody signed up to testify on this public hearing. Anybody wish to address the council on this matter? All right, seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2020 authorization for supplemental budget, general fund, non-departmental resources, and non-departmental requirements.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2020, authorization for supplemental budget, general fund, non-departmental resources, and non-departmental requirements. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Item 7C is the Holiday Inn Express liquor license application. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On August 5th, 2020, the city received an application for a new liquor license for the Holiday Inn Express and Suites located at 6150 Keizer Station Boulevard in Keizer, Oregon. The application is for a limited off-premises license. As required by Keizer ordinance, a public hearing was scheduled, notice was published, and mailed to all property owners within 200 feet of the establishment. Keizer Police Department reports a clear background check on the applicant and has no reasons to recommend denial of the application. And in addition, the Community Development Department finds the location of the establishment to be properly zoned and had no additional comment. It is recommended that the public hearing be opened to allow testimony from the applicant or other interested individuals, and upon completion, that the hearing be closed. It is further recommended City Council recommend approval of the application for the Holiday Inn Express and Suites under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Keizer. And the recommendation will be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did I open the public hearing, Tracy? Public hearing is open and the staff report is part of the record by reference. Any discussion on the staff report? Seeing none, I have one person signed up, Cheo Tseo, is that correct?
Yes.
Welcome, thank you for coming tonight.
Good evening, Mayor Clark and all members of council. My name is Cheo Tseo from represent Holiday Inn Express at Keizer. I plan to apply for a liquor license, as that gentleman council said, and exactly what I applied for. I will try to buy coolers and put all the beer. I only sell beer and wine, and manufacture concealed canned beer and wine. And my guest representative will distribute beers to individual guests, and they cannot drink in the lobby or in the hallway or in a public area. They have to take it to their own rooms to drink beers and wine.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. How are things going out there, just in general and with all the latest activity?
Today, last night and today are very crazy. We have a lot of phone calls asking for hotel rooms. Unfortunately, we had a lot of bookings and we were full and couldn't accommodate them. But usually we don't accept pet, but for this time, anybody calls from Sentient Fire, the guests who have pets, we allow them to stay at our hotel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is so important.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really appreciate your flexibility and helping out in a time of need for people in our community. And we're
My
so
pleasure.
glad that you're part of our Keizer community of businesses.
We would like to help whenever we can, to help our neighbors.
Well, thank you so much. We're
My
appreciative of that. And does anybody have any questions on the liquor license application? Councilor Herrera?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to make a comment. We really appreciate the kindness and the flexibility that you're doing, extending for the animals. That is really that's a Keizer thing. It really is good. So
Yes.
I think that's great. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak to this issue? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council Recommend approval of this application for Holiday Inn Express and Suites under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinance of the City of Keizer, and then forward this recommendation to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council recommend approval of the application for the Holiday Inn Express and Suites under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Keizer, and that this recommendation be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval. Further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, one absent. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. Administrative action, item 8A, is an order in the matter of the application of Shamawa Station LLC for approval of the Keizer Station Master Plan Amendment, Major Variance, Area D, Keizer Station, repeal of order in the application of Shamawa Station LLC, adopted November 1, 2004. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Chris, Madam Mayor and Council. At the August 3 meeting, the council held a public hearing on this matter, which was the Master Plan Amendment Major Variance case for Keizer Station Area D. And after that, council closed the hearing and directed us to prepare an order. We prepared that order. A couple of minor matters I wanted to point out to you. The original suggested or draft conditions included a condition regarding a water feature in Area D, and the timing for the condition of that was that the certificate of occupancy for the very first building not be issued until the water feature was completed. A week or so after the hearing, we heard from the applicant that they may be wanting to change again some layout that would require another amendment process, and that process may or may not affect the location of the water feature, which meant that it wouldn't make sense to build it there. That's not where they would want it. So after discussing it with Shane, we determined the most appropriate thing to do. What we didn't want to have happen is the first building, it appears pretty definitely will be the 7-Eleven combination gas station convenience mart. We didn't want a problem with that being held up if it was constructed because they didn't build a water feature because they didn't know where to put it yet. So we changed that to the second building. So the water feature isn't planned to be over by the 7-Eleven anyway. It'd be on the opposite side, on the west side. So the condition reads instead that the water feature needs to be completed prior to the certificate of occupancy for the second building because of that uncertainty there. The other thing was a very minor matter, if I could ask Council President Freeman. Looks to me like the Exhibit 1 at the very end didn't get marked Exhibit 1. So just being technical, if you could, in your motion, indicate you amend it by labeling the last page Exhibit 1. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Real quick, as I see the map that shows the water feature, is that, you said it was subject to,
Well, I don't want to speculate, but there's been some discussion by the developer about shifting the buildings within the jug handle, and the shifting of the buildings may result in the water feature actually being moved possibly to the other side of the street in the area outside the jug handle. If you're looking at the drawing directly across the street is a possibility.
Yeah, is that
we
where
don't
the
know.
dotted lines go around? Closer to the water, towards the water feature?
No, that's just the outline of the right-of-way, I believe.
Okay.
So if you see where the water feature is currently, there was some discussion informally that if the building in the number of buildings or the location of the buildings get changed, the water feature couldn't fit there, and that it would go across the street, which is a fine location too. I mean, it's actually more visible, I think, as people come in that entrance. As they come in that entrance, they'd be looking straight at it. So, but the problem is we don't know for sure. So otherwise, we would have changed it. and come back and said, well, we changed the location. But they're in a state of uncertainty right now, and so
Okay,
because of
as a
that, we're
follow-up,
waiting.
how common is that, where they last minute change it, or they're,
You know, I talked to Alan Roothouse. He said, Shannon, what can I tell you? It's development, you know? That's his quote. It happens. I think there's some tenants, the end users within the jug handle have some corporate thing that they're looking at changing something on them, and so that's the story.
Interesting into it.
thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any other questions on the staff report for Area D? All right, Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt an order in the matter of the application of Shamawa Station LLC for approval of the Keizer Station Master Plan Amendment, Major Variance, Area D, Keizer Station, repeal of order in the application of Shamawa Station LLC adopted November 1, 2004, with the addition of labeling Exhibit 1 in our packet.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt an order in the matter of the application of Shamawa Station LLC for approval of the Keizer Station Master Plan Amendment, Major Variance, Area D, Keizer Station, repeal of order in the application of Shamawa Station LLC adopted November 1, 2004, amended with marking the last exhibit with a 1. Okay, further discussion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, 1 absent. Item 8B is an ordinance declaring a second local state of emergency in the city of Keizer as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, declaring an emergency. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Chris, Madam Mayor, and Council. The existing declaration by the City Council by ordinance expires on September 9th, tomorrow. Consequently, I prepared a new ordinance that is similar to the previous ordinance. That first ordinance, by nature of the ordinance itself and by our main emergency ordinance, has got a sunset date in it of tomorrow. I made a few changes there. I'm not going to go over all of those. I will highlight a couple. As you may have heard, staff is recommending phasing out the grace period for utility shutoffs. We put that in there. The attached ordinance calls for sending shutoff notices beginning with the October 2020 billing. The other thing that I really wanted to point out was the OSHA, or Occupational Safety, Health and Administration draft rules. If any of you have heard about those, they're pretty complicated, and unlike the governor's orders, will undoubtedly apply to us. That could very possibly change what's in this emergency declaration the council's adopting. So we put in a clause that basically said that if those rules go into effect and directly supersede our rules, then that's the story. So that's what would have happened. And I'll be glad to give you more information when those rules are final, which will be soon, possibly within the next week or 10 days. I don't think they will affect all of what you see before you here, but I think it will affect some of it, and we'll be updating you on that. The emergency declaration also includes the city manager's direction regarding suspending enforcement of temporary sign regulations to allow people to know what's open. That was not in the first one, although it was in the city manager's one. I wanted to make that clear. And of course, this is all up to council discussion and decision. You can choose to pick and choose among these things if you feel some are not appropriate. This second declaration would terminate on November 3, 2020, which is the day after the first council meeting in November. So the recommendation is to review the attached ordinance and revise if appropriate, and then adopt the ordinance. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions? Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councilor Johnson, since we're anticipating some additional verbiage or language or changes to what we're looking at tonight, would it be prudent to consider just extending the existing declaration?
That wouldn't affect it because our existing one would be changed anyway. If you're talking about the OSHA rules being in effect, yeah, it would be changed anyway. The other existing one is dead automatically. We can't really extend it. We can only, otherwise I would have just renewed it or amended it. It sunsets tomorrow, so we really have to come up with a new ordinance. And this ordinance you see before you, except for those changes I outlined, is identical.
So we can't change the sun, it's just gonna set.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If we ever see it again.
Oh, I saw it earlier this morning if I look north.
That's been pretty eerie, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Okay. No, thank you. You just mentioned that, my brain just went elsewhere. Okay, any other questions on the staff report? Councilor Rivera?
No.
Okay, nope, you good? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, thank you for staying on top of this, City Manager, Mr. Johnson, and staff. This changes daily still, and keeping up with it has continued to be a challenge, and I really appreciate all of you making sure we're current and also continuing to provide ongoing services for everybody in Keizer. So that's very important, that people can rely on us for being there. All right, with that, Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt a bill for an ordinance 2020 declaring a second local state of emergency in the city of Keizer as a result of COVID-19 pandemic declaring an emergency.
Second that.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt a bill for an ordinance declaring a second local state of emergency in the city of Keizer as a result of COVID-19 pandemic declaring an emergency. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Consent calendar. Council President Freeman, would you please read what is on tonight's consent calendar?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item on the consent calendar. Items 9A are the approval of the August 17, 2020 City Council regular session minutes.
Does anybody need to pull that for additions or corrections? Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that we approve the consent calendar items 9A, approval of the August 17, 2020 City Council regular session minutes.
Second that.
The consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously, one absent. Council liaison reports. Councilor Smith, we usually don't get to start with you.
I feel very. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Let's mix it up. Why not? It's
Sure.
2020.
Yeah, I've had enough 2020, I don't know about you guys. Just a couple things. The charter is headed to the ballot, and we're very excited about that. Looking to get a lot of support on that. I think that we are going in the right direction, and I appreciate not only all the councilor support on that, but also all the candidates who are running for council positions also are endorsing that, along with some additional prominent people, and I'm looking forward to seeing that come out in the voters pamphlet. And thank you to Mayor Clark for your work on getting that in, which I believe
I got it done today.
you got it done today amongst all the other chaos. So thank you for that. And so we're working on getting some Facebook pages up and things like that, and getting a design done. Obviously, the last couple days have kind of derailed that, but we're not going to give up on that just because of a wildfire. So I want to thank you for that. And again, just going back to the situation at hand, I'm very pleased with how the city of Keizer is responding. Man, I'm so proud that we are the community that immediately stepped up, because at the end of the day, Marion County is all of us, and there's a lot of people that are being affected by this. So I want to thank everyone who is just jumping up to help, and I just would ask that you continue to pay attention to the official information, as we spoke earlier about the official pages. And one of the things I did want to mention is there is a website. It's called Metcom 911. It is the Marion County Dispatch Center. It is that you can go in and you can log in and set up a reverse 911 call. That is actually how I got the majority of the information throughout the night that I was able to push out onto social media. It does a reverse phone call. It tells you what stage you're at if you're in the area, and emails you and text messages you. So again, that's Metcom 911. It's called I think it's called Everlink or something like that, but it's on the webpage. So again, that's for East Marion County, the areas that are being affected by that, and that's going to be the most reliable information that you can receive. So again, thank you to everybody who jumped up, stepped up, and we'll just keep praying for our little communities up there. And I hope they all know that we care deeply, and we will do whatever we can to support them in moving forward. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Councilor Herrera.
Before I do my little thing here, I just want to thank you, Elizabeth, Councilor Smith, and all the volunteers at Keizer, because what's going on, everything that's going on right now, and then for people to step up and do that extra to help others is really great. It's the Keizer way. So thank you very much for your help, and Mayor and everybody else. And we've got some extra people at our house right now too. So just, you know. Anyway, we had our LOC a big day for us as far as establishment of the color caucus that I've been working on for well over a year. On September 3rd, we met, and it is now official. We have Oregon Local Government People of Color Caucus has been formally created and adopted our bylaws on September 3rd. And I want to personally thank Councilor Perry, Councilor Ceja, Councilor Johnson from Albany, Councilor Roy Barone from way over in Hermiston, Councilor Palmero, and Commissioner McGriff, David Imani from Happy Valley, who were very active. They were the core of people that work with me, and it took us a lot of work. Just so you know, we went to the Equity and Inclusion Committee, the Bylaws Committee. They had to change the bylaws to accept a caucus because they've never had one in the whole state. It'll be the very first. So we're really proud of our work, and especially a shout out to Sean O'Day, who is brilliant in his legal mind and helped me, because, you know, without him, we couldn't have done what we did. Anyway, that was a big deal for us. So we kind of made history. On the 3rd also, we also had our board meeting for St. Vincent de Paul, which is starting all over again. It's going to become a dual language program, and Arturo and Olga Gloria's daughter, Esther, is going to be the principal. I'm pretty excited about it. And they're starting with the minimal students, probably about 100, and they're going preschool to 5th grade, and it's going to be dual language. It's pretty exciting. One of the first models in the whole state of its kind. So I'm pretty excited to be on that. Also, we talked about mano a mano. We're on overdrive as far as food boxes because of the need right now. So that's another person, if you think of another group of people that you can also chime in with. It's easy to find mano a mano. I also had on the 9th the Racial Equity and Justice Committee, which we are working on the resolution, which is actually we meet tomorrow again at 11 a.m. Another Zoom. I think I set a record for 5 Zooms in one day. Anybody had more than that in one day?
Oh my
That's
God.
incredible. Anyway, so and then on the 14th, of course, we have when's our parks tour? 14th? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, we have our parks tour. I'm excited about that. And then I have another LOC on the 15th. Our work session on the 28th. Is that right?
That's correct.
And I have a judicial fitness meeting on September 18th on the Commission of Judicial Fitness and Disability. On the 13th, we have, on the 24th, we have the Gupser Greater Neighborhood Association. And of course, the resolution stuff we're working on. And again, thanks for all the volunteers who have been stepping up. And, you know, we all can do our part. Even with what's going on right now and all this pressure and all the anxiety and everything, we can still step up and help others. So thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Congratulations on the Color Caucus. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
Council President Freeman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tomorrow night we have the Planning Commission, right? At 6 o'clock here in council chambers. On the 10th, we have, starting at 7:30, the Marion County Commissioner Breakfast at Sherry's, which is myself, Councilor Smith, and Councilor Kohler. And then also on the 10th at 7 p.m. in the lobby here of City Hall is we're resuming the West Keizer Neighborhood Association meeting. So looking forward to everyone attending, practicing social distancing and wearing masks. And we will have great time because it's been a long time since we have met. So as the weather is changing and it's darker, like just be aware of walkers and runners, and I'll even say during the daylight, because I happen to walk a lot with a few people in our audience, and I'm amazed at how many people don't see you. So, be aware of that, and people walking their dogs or anything else they happen to be walking. So just be aware of that. Just a shout out too, we've been talking a lot about just donations and everything, but through our local community action agency, there are still rental assistance funds and energy assistance to help pay utility or, electric. And so I just want to make sure that people are aware that there are potentially funds still available, and those are funds through the CARES Act. And so those funds are available. And thank you to first responders that are out there. Those are very, very important. And so keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And then just if you're able to, stop by the chamber with specific donations, I know they can use it. And we've already heard they've taken truckloads or stopped by Keizer Food Bank, Cash Food. I think we're all really good at that. So just whatever you can do, it's much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I've been very, very consumed with the start of the school year, and it has been insane as far as just preparing for students. I had a call from a little guy today, panicked about, how do I do this online school stuff? Well, you have another week, so relax. And so that was good to at least be able to put him at rest for that. But yes, so teachers are working very, very hard to try and figure out this whole comprehensive distance learning, and hopefully we'll be able to really engage all students, and the schools are working really hard to make that happen. So the schools are starting in the Salem Keizer School District, the online EDGE program is starting on Monday next, and then everybody else is starting on Tuesday. So that is something to look forward to. So we got to find those happy parts of the start of the school year, no matter how confusing it may be. So we had a Stormwater Advisory Committee meeting, and we reviewed these. We're in the final stages of, finalizing the stormwater management program. Yes. What?
Close enough.
Document, thank you. I knew there was one more word that I had to put in there, but yes, the swamp document as we call it. So anyway, that was a great process to get input from a variety of people on the council or on the commission, and so that is near final, and we are doing it way ahead of schedule. So we have an excellent staff that has made that happen. So appreciate that. We also had our first Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association meeting since March, and so that was good to get that rolling again. Despite the fact that we don't generally have too much in terms of attendance, we do have some participation online through Facebook, and so we really appreciate that. And we also wanted to extend our condolences to Martin Giovannini, who passed away. He was on the SECNA board, and so we really appreciate his services and extend our condolences to him, well, not to him, to his family, and thank him for all his service. We had a meeting discussing the Keizer Heritage Foundation in conjunction with the Keizer Points of Interest Committee, talked about some points of similarities between those two organizations and looking to make that more efficient. So that was a really good conversation. I also helped out with the bike helmet distribution and with Hirsch Marianne Sangster, and that was, again, a really great turnout. We weren't able to get the bike repair element of that, which is what a lot of people were really wanting, but that was due to COVID hit the shop that was going to help us out with that. So that part didn't happen, but again, thank you to them for that. And I guess through all of this, I just want to say that this is a very difficult time for everyone. And it's easy to get lost in your own little perspective, in your own little world, and see the horrible things that are happening to you. without really acknowledging that horrible things are happening to everyone. And just to be able to develop that empathy and to be able to know that we can always be worse off and to be grateful for what we do have and the small miracles in our lives on a day-to-day basis. And I think that really will help us to be able to get along better and to be unified as a community, because we really desperately need that. And that's how we make that happen, is to just extend that empathy. So that's how we need to start the school year. That's how we need to always live our lives, but especially during these hard times, because we all would rather go to bed and wake up when this is all done, but that's not how it works. So anyway, just want to leave with that thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and all the best to you and the entire teaching and support staff for the Salem Keizer School District. It's been a tremendous pivot, and a lot of work has gone into preparing for this school year to support our students, to support their families, and education will happen. And there's going to be some life lessons like the one you just shared that I hope that our students will carry for a lifetime when they remember back to 2020, the things they learned about themselves and what they can do to make a difference in their world. So our best to you, and let us know how we can be supportive for our students, their families, and the teachers and staff.
Thank you very much. I will.
Great, thank you. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was visiting with my wife the other night, and she said, you know, I think we need to just unplug 2020 and reboot. See if we can get it to start right. So I thought that was a good suggestion. I attended the volunteer coordinating committee for Councilor Parsons. And again, Daisy Hickman ran a good meeting. I was very pleased with the way that she did that and the way that the coordinating committee worked together to accomplish the workings of our city. I just really appreciate that. On September 1st, with Councilor Reed, I did attend the Stormwater Advisory Committee meeting. We talked about an illicit discharge that was done on Lake Labiche. The water was traced to an area near the Volcano Stadium, but they didn't ever really figure out where it came from. But things are back to the same level. But said it's possible that somebody may have discharged the sewage treatment from a sewage tank from their travel trailer or motorhome or something. But be careful with that kind of stuff, because it does make a difference. And we also discussed the need to amend the construction site pollution prevention plan to the erosion and sediment control plan to match industry standards. And they said that's something that we can do in the council. So Shane, is that something you've talked about?
That is something we will address through the revision of the illicit discharge ordinance primarily, and is more directly related to the permit term that we use now as a construction site pollution prevention plan, or CSPPP, to an erosion and sediment control plan, which is more industry standard.
All right, so that's in the works?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. And their next meeting for the Stormwater Advisory Committee is March of 2021. So on the 2nd was the Claggett Creek Watershed Council Zoom meeting. They talked a little bit about the Wallace House cleanup that's coming up on September 26th. It'll be followed by a planting, most likely on October 10th. Many volunteers will be needed for both, especially the planting. September 10th, one of our original counselors, Phil Bay, it's his birthday. And City Council and the County Commissioners breakfast at 7:30. I'm looking forward to that. Also on the 10th is the Traffic Safety Bike Ped Committee at 6 o'clock in the council chambers. And 9:14 is the Parks Tour. There's other stuff too, but we'll skip the rest of those things in the interest of time. I would like to just share a little story that I got to witness today. A couple came down from Gates early this morning. They were in 2 different locations. They were moved from each of those locations and made it to Volcano Stadium, probably about 2:30 this afternoon. And while visiting with them and kind of getting their story of where they have been and what's going on, they said, "What?" I said, "Do you know what's going on with your place?" And she goes, "No, we just don't know. We just don't know." And it just hits you. We have so many blessings in our lives that we take for granted. Councilor Reed talks about school. There's kids right now that don't even know if they have a school to go back to. And while I was still visiting with those folks, they said, "Just a second. Oh. And he looked at his phone and he goes, "Somebody just sent us a picture of the house and there was stuff burned all the way around it, but their house was still standing."
Oh my God.
Talk about relief for these people. Just the little things that we can do. I'm so impressed with the number of people that drop stuff off at Volcano Stadium, the food, the chips, all different things. There were people that brought diapers and all kinds of things. And, nobody's making them do that. We do that because we love each other and we want to help and we're concerned about our fellow man. So thank you for everything that everybody's doing. And it's a blessing for me to be a small part and take time and count your blessings. Hug your neighbor, hug your friends.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm very happy for them. And as people get word, I know that our community is in it for the short game, which is get through the emergency. We're also in it for the long game. And that's something that I just love about our community. We're in this for the long game. Thank you. Just a few things to share. Story poll number 2 is done. So if you want to take a moment, see something beautiful and just smile, go to the front of City Hall. We have 2 things that used to be dead trees that drove our city manager nuts.
Yes, they did.
Because that was a project that was supposed to take 6 months, 6 years later, a lot of work, creativity, ideas, and they are done. And they are absolutely beautiful. They celebrate some of the best things about Keizer and our Mid-Willamette Valley, historical references, and of course our wonderful bounty that is now being harvested from so many gardens and fields. And we're going to need every bit of that to share not only for our families but with our neighbors in the coming months. The August Coffee with Kathy was virtual. We did a virtual update for people. Thank you again to the people who are sharing on a monthly basis to get the word out about what's going on in our community. And then a meeting in person outside, socially distanced, at Jeff and Cheryl's on the Turn. This coming month, it will be on September 19th, weather permitting, outside behind Mommy and Maddie's. They do have a grass area back there, and it's quite nice. Who knew? On the 25th at SCATS, the Salem Keizer Area Transportation Study, we were talking about the upcoming projects for the 24-27 STIP, which is the statewide transportation improvement program, along with projects like Aurora Donald Interchange, where we're wanting to push very hard to get that fully funded, get it built one and done, not phased. So that would be very important to get done. It would also, by the way, save $7 million-ish. More importantly, getting that thing done right saves lives. On the 26th, it was my privilege to be part of the NAACP community conversation on community policing with Chief Teague, Chief Moore, the undersheriff for Marion County. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name at the moment. Great conversation with leadership across the community, community members as well, continuing to bring forth questions that people have, concerns they have, learn about how we are currently policing and how we can continue to make improvements and build understanding in our community. I really appreciate these conversations. The next one will be on October 21st at 6 p.m. via Zoom. And those are published later, so you can watch them on the Facebook page for the NAACP. On the 2nd of September, it was my privilege to be part of a group of leaders from around our community and from the Salem Keizer School District to celebrate the ribbon cutting for McNary High School. It's beautiful on the outside. If you walk around that facility, oh my gosh, the new softball fields. Oh, I can't wait to see people out there on them. They are spectacular. But you want spectacular is what's on the inside. For career technical education, diesel mechanics, auto mechanics, business and finance, the new music room. Oh, yes. Digital media are among the facilities that have been added to McNary High School. It is world-class. It continues to be world-class, so the students can get world-class, make world-class contributions, both when they leave high school and going forward. It's going to be amazing when we get those students back in that school for that. Oh, culinary, professional grade culinary. The two instructors there are from Le Cordon Bleu cooking school. So again, we want our students to be prepared as adults to be able to do amazing work, and they will. It was my privilege to join the Southeast Keizer Neighbors Association on the 3rd. It was a really good conversation, small but mighty, and I always learn a lot when I get a chance to listen to our neighbors. So I appreciated that opportunity. I'm looking at Carol Dorfler for West Keizer Neighbors Association. I might just stop by if I can on the 10th.
You're always welcome.
Thank you, Carol. It's always a fun time to be with everybody, and it's just nice to see everybody, even if maybe you don't recognize them. That smells like smoke. Coming up, we have it stinks. Tomorrow is the SEDCOR webinar, the Strategic Economic Development Corporation, and economic update from Tim Dewey, who is from U of O. He's an economist. Also on the 9th, and that's, by the way, free. So any of you that want to register for that, please do so. It's very much worth taking a listen. That does broadcast later. The Council of Governments Executive Committee will meet later that afternoon. Have we heard anything from Latino Business Alliance, Tracy? Okay. So if they do meet, it's Councilor Herrera and myself. But again, be supporting all of our businesses, our Latino businesses. Check their website, check their Facebook page for the members so we can be supportive. And we have great businesses to support. I mean, talk about quality all the way, world class. The Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance will meet the full board, and the ORS 190 organization that goes with it will be at 3 o'clock on the 10th. On the 11th, the 9/11 remembrance will not be happening in person. It will be filmed at some point. I have not gotten information from them. Like a lot of us, the Keizer Fire District has been a little busy these last few days, taking care of folks in our community and also responding with other agencies. On the 15th, I will be on the call with the Economic Recovery Team with Regional Solutions from the Governor's Office and local leaders from Marion, Polk, and Yamhill counties, and our Chamber of Commerce, Salem Chamber of Commerce, and other organizations. On the 17th, there's a mayor's teleconference with the governor, so we'll look forward to that conversation. Update on the COVID response. Anybody remember that after today? Yes, we do. I'm making light a little bit. It's been tough. Keep wearing face coverings. Keep your hands washed. Don't sneeze on anybody. And keep loving your neighbor. Virtual hugs. But please call your neighbors. There's a lot of people who are a little isolated, or if they're not on Facebook, as Council President Freeman pointed out, make sure they know what's going on. There's nothing worse than ignorance or not knowing to increase fear. So let people know. On the 17th is the Percy event, Percy Presents. It's a virtual event this year, but this is a huge fundraiser for the Giving Baskets. That is a partnership between the Keizer Chamber of Commerce and our Salem Keizer School District. to provide for families in need during the holidays. The need is great this year, but Keizer is also great, and we are going to step up and make this a very successful event. And that's all I've got. So with that, let's go to other business. This time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. City manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tracy? Bill?
Nothing tonight, thank you, Chris.
Shane?
No, the only thing I would say is that actually the 7-Eleven gas station has actually applied for a permit now for audit area D. So as Shannon alluded to earlier, yes, we think that there might be something getting built sooner than a water feature might be able to come in. So anyway, it's kind of a phased deal. So the building itself hasn't come in, but the canopy and the initial things they have to do it's a big deal to put in gas stations. So that's all.
Okay.
Awesome.
Mr. Wood?
I have nothing else to add tonight. Thank you.
Counselor?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Anyone have any questions that didn't get answered? Thank you,
I've
Matt.
got a
Yes.
couple. One, Tim, have we been having some glitches with the server off and on? Occasionally my email says, I don't like you, and then it comes back and goes, I love you again.
We have had some issues today. Comcast has been going in and out. We were down for most of the morning today. Unfortunately, the fire district was also down along with us. So there are some major connections that apparently they're having some work performed on. So at this point, it does look like we are stable, and we are working on a plan to move to another provider that will give us a better backup option. So we're working on that.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. And I have a question for Mr. Lawyer. There have been some comments, and there was an email sent regarding basketball hoops in a neighborhood. I know most of that email went to Ben Crosby, who did respond to the person who was concerned. But the person who was had the complaints about numerous basketball hoops that are inappropriately placed asked about maybe some options for being able to respond more generally than trying to turn in every single one of them, especially if there's a street with 5 or 6 of them, which apparently is true in that area. So I don't know if that might be a conversation for a little later on.
Okay.
So just want to bring that to your attention.
I think Ben actually provided feedback to her of a way to do that.
Okay.
So-
Appreciate that. I didn't get a chance to follow up because my email was down.
Yeah,
Right.
he did. He emailed her. I think he got it. I think it came in last night.
Okay.
He emailed back and asked for a little bit more specificity rather than the North Keizer neighborhood. So, but we talked about it a little bit today, and I think we were hoping to get at least maybe some kind of a block range. Don't have to have every single address, but we kind of need more than it's everywhere in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we did reach out to them, and we'll try to follow up and make some contacts with folks and get them to move things.
Appreciate that. And I apologize. I keep forgetting that code enforcement is in your wheelhouse. I think of you kind of on that one, very collaborative. But I think Ben's work does span a number of agents, of departments. But thank you for making sure I know where that lives. Thank you.
Councilor Freeman.
I just wanted to say thank you for all the emails that have been coming out in a very timely, informative measures. I mean, I appreciate all the governor's updates that you've been sending and just things happening and how we can be involved. So thank you.
Trying to keep people up to date on stuff. All right. Anything else? Anyone? Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right. Thank you very much. Written communications, I've got 2 small items. One is a thank you from Jonathan Thompson, sent to the city manager and myself. I sent a note with a question to Tracy on Saturday evening. It wasn't urgent and easily could have waited until Monday. However, Tracy responded to me at 9 p.m. that night with the information I needed. Tracy's responsiveness is very much appreciated. She's great. We agree. I got a Facebook message, then I followed up with a phone call or a email to one of our Keizer residents, Mr. Escarino, who had issues with not having potable water due to break in the system, and I got a hold of Robert Johnson, who was standing in for Mr. Lawyer, and he responded very quickly, got somebody down there, ascertained what was going on. Again, thank you to Councilor Kohler, who got some folks down there with some potable water, some drinking water for the residents while that was fixed. It was a very hot day. And I just really appreciate Robert's very quick response to the residents in that apartment complex, and making sure that they were okay, and got that back up and running, even though it was on the property owner's side. So his responsiveness made a difference. And Mr. Escarino and his family and the people in that apartment complex felt very taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then one more, let's see, this was the same one. So that's all I've got on written communications, typed communications. Agenda input next Monday, Lord willing, and all goes forward. We will meet at 6 o'clock for our work session for our annual parks tour. And looking forward to that, especially the work down at Wallace House Park. And we're meeting, Tracy?
You are meeting at the gazebo at 5:45, gazebo right out here. I sent out a link for a lunch or a dinner order. If you'd like food, it'll be here at 5:30. So you can get your food order in. Food at 5:45, and the tour will take off at 6.
All right, looking forward to it.
The agenda is posted on the website, so if anybody wants to join, they'll know the order of the parks.
Okay. So make sure you check that, and we'll be on that tour. Councilor Freeman, are you going to be here for that?
No.
Okay, so you're not going to be here, and I don't believe Councilor Parsons will be back either, so we will be down too. Okay, everybody else good on it? Okay, getting head nods. Then we will meet again on September 21st at 7 p.m. in regular session. And then on September 28th, we will have a work session talking about our council goal on diversity and disparity. And also have a conversation about elements for inclusion and statements of that nature. Okay, anything else for the good of the order? Everybody stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you next time. The time is 8:34 and we are adjourned.